looking at Jesus, his humanity. Over the last few weeks, we've been looking at his humanity, how human he is. And this is no exception. Today, this week, the third Sunday, we look at Jesus' humanity. He is exhausted. He's tired. He feels weak. He feels that he just doesn't have the energy to go on. Now, let's start here. How many of us feel the same way sometimes? Maybe some of you all the time. You feel you have no energy. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're suffering from something chronic. And Jesus decides to rest. If he's not guilty about resting, while all of his disciples, maybe younger than him, are full of energy, and they go into town and they say, "Hey, Jesus, we've been walking for a while. We're hungry. We're going to KFC. We're going to buy some chicken." And so they walk into the city to buy their food. And Jesus says, "Guys, okay, you go. I'm staying here." And in that place of rest, while the others are working hard, getting the food, which is also important, Jesus has an encounter. He has an encounter with someone who is desperate for hope. He has an encounter with someone who needed him to be tired. He has an encounter with someone who, if he did not decide to stop, would not have encountered the love of Jesus. Not only this, but the ramification of that encounter was that the whole of the village converted, all because Jesus was not feeling guilty about resting in his tiredness. Again, what an incredible message for us. Are you resting? Are you in this place of rest, in this place sometimes of disability, this place where you feel you cannot function? Are you feeling so guilty about it, so disappointed about it, so angry about it that you miss the moment of rest? Or are you able to live in that present moment? A friend of mine, a workaholic, he's a priest and he runs one of the biggest parishes in Melbourne. And he works so hard, but something tragic happened to him. And he ended up in a place where he was isolated, a place where he couldn't go out. But in this place, he started to realize that he was either going to be frustrated, angry about it, or he was going to live in the moment. And so he started to have conversations with people. He started to decide to focus on living in that moment and on speaking to people, where before he was so busy that he would never sit down and have long conversations with people. But all of a sudden now, he started to see that lives were changing as he was able to sit and stay. Now, fast forward to when things got better. Most of his key leadership for his parish today are people whom he sat down with during that time of desolation. And now their parish has become literally the most powerful, the most influential, the most impacting parish in all of Victoria. Why? Because he decided to live in the moment of those suffering. Many of you are struggling. And that struggle, sometimes that tiredness, is an opportunity of God speaking to you if you're ready to live in the moment. Now, again, this is what Jesus did. He lived in the moment. He lived in that place of conversation, that place of not feeling that he had to work all the time, to keep going all the time. Rest. Allow yourself to recover. But in that place of recovery, ask God to use you. Ask God to start conversations. Ask God to instill dreams in your heart, seeds in your soul that when you have the strength will come to flourish and come to change not only the lives of the people around you, but the lives of so many, as he did with this Samaritan woman. Lord Jesus, let me never waste a moment, even a moment when I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I feel I cannot go on.